Hello, this is Rich Campy, CEO of Pro Advisor Coach, the thinking coach. Of all topics, this one really excites me, and a lot of topics excite me, but this particular one, thinking about thinking. About 24 years ago, I was introduced to a tool called the MindScan through one of my mentors and coaches, Jack Wilder. Jack Wilder was introduced to the tool 20 to 30 years prior to that, and it had such a profound impact on his life and on my life, as I'm sure it will on your life and on your team. See, I was an executive at the time in the wireless and .com space, and I was coaching and mentoring and leading teams, and this tool was such a valuable part of my organization in bringing new people on board as we hired, but also helping to coach effectively the teams that we had, because I could understand thinking in a new way. So let's back up a little bit and look at where this came from and talk a little bit about Dr. Robert S. Hartman, who was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in his work around formal axiology. Formal axiology is the mathematical study of values, the measuring or reading of values. So let's take a look at this. If we look at movement, right? We know something's moving when it goes from place to place because we can see it moving. But we can mathematically know how fast it's moving when we look at space divided by time. So that's kind of what Dr. Hartman did. It's one thing to know that a value is, right, high performance teams, or a value is empathy for people, or a value is getting results, right? Those are all values that we have, but mathematically measuring these values is a whole different place, and that's really the math behind what we're talking about. So a little bit of history on Dr. Hartman. He grew up in Germany. He was an attorney, then a judge. Sentenced a lot of the Nazi party to prison for what they were doing. And when Hitler became in reign, he realized his days were numbered. So he left the country and moved to the United States. And he committed his life to mathematically understanding values, which is formal axiology. And what he found in his pursuit of this is that there's really three values that drive everything, much like color. There's three primary colors that make up all color. Same thing is true within our thinking. There's three primary colors or three primary thinking patterns or values that drive all thinking. And those are the relator, the doer, and the thinker. Scientifically or mathematically, we call these, the relator is called intrinsic value, the doer is called extrinsic value, and the thinker is called systemic value. So what he found is that these three values, of the 45,000 to 65,000 thoughts that we have per day, we're creatures of pattern, and we run the same patterns again and again and again. So it's really a combination of these three values that work together to create all thinking. Just like color, three primary colors make up all color. Every color we see is made up of three primary colors. Same thing is true in our thinking. Three primary thinking values make up all thinking. And then it's just a combination of how much we put on each one of these. So, hope that gives you a little better idea of what the MindScan is, the power of how it can be used, a little history. And in our next segment, we're going to go through how this all works together. So a little bit more of the math, how it fits together, and then we're going to go through each dimension. So 10 sessions overall just on MindScan and understanding how we think. I mean, thinking drives everything. And as human beings, we have decisions we can make up here, intentional thinking, right? Or causality consciousness thinking. So over the next 9 sessions, this is the first of the 10, we're going to be covering in depth the MindScan, how it can be used within ourselves, how it can be used to coach, how it can use it to lead, how it can use it within our teams, and to be the best that we can be and the best with others. This is Coach Rich Campy saying, we'll see you next time